Welcome back to another coffee break here at Match Point once again. I keep it simple. I get the same thing up basically every time. When it gets cold, I get warm drinks. In the summer, when it's a little warm, I like to get a fresh drink. But welcome to today's coffee break. I am your host, Sam Iscabel. I want to say thank you to everyone who is subscribed and everyone who's watching. Thank you all for your support. I got a good one for you today. Here it is, how to find your voice, okay? And the point is this, to talk with purpose, we must find the voice that represents you, that represents me. Being so passionate about storytelling, this lines up with, what gets my mind going and my adrenaline going. My hope is that everyone gets an opportunity to share their story, to pass on the lessons and just the experiences that they have been through. And so many people speak often at work, in conversations, and in passing, but rarely do they speak, here we go, with intention. And so finding your voice isn't about simply being heard. It's about communicating in a way that reflects your values, your purpose, and your personality. I know this is a bit much, but this just takes conversation and talking to another level. Growing up, I look back at my life and I realize how many conversations I've had and wasted opportunities with friends that are in the past, with people that I have met and done business with and community with. How many times was I just wasting a good conversation because I didn't put focus on what am I saying, why am I saying it? And I think that that's important. I just wanted to put that in your mind to maybe just promote, a world where great conversations are had. And so why finding your voice matters. And when you find your voice, you will begin to speak with clarity, build trust and credibility, and you'll create deeper connections and gain confidence. And so people they'll know what you stand for when you speak with clarity. And so whenever you're meeting people and they say, hey, we met for coffee, but let's meet again. Let's go play some golf. Let's go play some tennis. You know that those invites are based. Now, sometimes it's business. I get that. But in relationship, right? When you know what your voice is and others get to experience your voice and you get those second, third, fourth invites that lead into a long-term friendship of some sort or a relationship of some sort, it's because there was a great conversation that had value. And so this might work for someone if you're watching this and you're like, I used to have a lot of friends. I'm really lonely now. I don't have a lot of friends. This could open up the door because if you find your voice, people that you interact with will reach out to you because they feel a connection or they're interested to learn and to know more about you. And all of that is tied in and woven within your voice. And so building trust and credibility, your words align with your actions. And when we communicate, I want people to walk away and say, Sam is passionate about storytelling. Sam is a podcaster. Sam is a family man, a man of faith, all of these things. He's a good guy, good conversationalist. All my words align with those actions one way or the other. And so the same should be for you. But it's also not like, I do this, I do that, A, B, C, and D. It's not that either. I'm not trying to encourage people to be robotic, but more organic. That's what I'm trying to do. And so the next one is this. It creates deeper connections. I kind of touched on that on a few things that I mentioned just before. But you don't just talk, you connect. And as we conversate, as you have great conversations, because you show up, because your voice shows up and it identifies with you, those become bigger and better connections. There'll be more of them. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Who doesn't like to be surrounded with people who accept you for who you are, not think the same as you? That's not what this is about. But they heard your voice, they see who and how you are, and they accept you. What would that do for you, right? As a person, maybe you spent your life getting rejected for this reason and that reason, looked down upon for this and that, and all of a sudden you're showing up. Your voice is showing up, and people are opening the door and saying, let's meet again. Let's talk again. I want you to learn about me, and I want to learn about you. And my friend, that is the power of finding your voice, right? Of having great conversations. And here we go. And so that with that, you gain confidence. You no longer wonder what to say. You speak from who you are. That means you're comfortable. That means you're not tiptoeing or nothing like that. I'm not saying be extreme and be like, this is who I am, accept who I am, and so on. No. You still show up in a way that it's open for someone to participate in that space. And so that is what finding your voice is about. And so ask yourself this, all right? It says, what values show up most in your conversations? When you go deep in dialogue, what topics rise to the top? And what do you want to be known for, right? We'll answer those in a minute. Be thinking about it as I present it to you. But whenever I speak, I aim to highlight storytelling, communication, and confidence. These are the things that I believe in, right? These are like my pillars that have to do with my voice, that hold up my voice and who I am. They help people connect better and speak, and helps me speak clearer, and I feel a sense of connection from those, right? And so what values show up most in your conversation? Identify those things, right? You'll have to think about, it may not come natural if you haven't identified them before, but this is a good time to start. Here's the next one. When you go deep in dialogue, what topics rise to the top? What are you knowledgeable about? What do you talk about the most? Or when you bring something up, what gets people more interested, right? That is what you want to identify. And that's going to point you towards your passion and your purpose and all that, and your voice a bit more. What is it, right? He goes, and the next one is, what do you want to be known for? This is a deep question. It's like a legacy question. What do you want to be known for? You need to find your voice, walk around, connect in that voice more. This answer doesn't come right away. For me, I want to be known for storytelling. In what aspect? Not only do I enjoy sharing my story and the things that I've learned from how I grew up, but I want to encourage others to share their story. And I get excited when I get to coach someone on how to share their story. That's what I want to be known for. And then I do podcasting, I'm a businessman, and all these other things, they're there too, but I want to be known for this. If I got invited to speak, I want to be invited to speak on storytelling. And so what is it for you? You might know that answer now, but if you don't, put it on a need to know basis, right? And go out and find it. But here are 4 keys to help you find your voice. Number 1 is identify your core values. What are the 2 to 3 things that you care about the most? I care about my family. I care about my church. I care about, people being heard / I care about people's stories, right? And the value that's in those stories. Is it leadership or family, faith, justice, creativity? I don't know. What is it for you? Identify 2 or 3 of those things. Write them down and then look for the pattern in your conversation. Okay, that's the first one. Number 2 is practice speaking with intention. Don't just talk, but speak from your values. When someone asks, how are you doing? Find a way to tie in what matters to you. How are you doing today, Sam? Well, I'm doing fine. I met this young guy today. He's launching a business, and I got to know a little bit about his journey. kind of the area he grew up in, the interests in his videography journey that he's starting in. That's how I showed up in that conversation. That's my voice, and I saw an opportunity to do that, and I did. And so how does that look for you? The more you find your voice and are certain of who you are, the easier that's going to be to find, right? And so speaking with intention. Here we go. Number 3 is this: listen to yourself. Go back and listen to voice memos, record yourself if you're a podcaster. Just think about the conversations that you're having and say, was it balanced? Did I hijack the conversation? Was it a lot of nonsense? Was it like, oh man, I got to talk about what I'm passionate about, and the other individual asked me questions and I was able to answer? Start doing that for yourself, right? What parts of you are showing up? Which values continue to repeat? This is note-taking stuff, but it's good to keep in mind. I'm going to make a mental note of this. And then this: share often, even whenever it's not perfect, as you're finding your voice. And it may take, I'm still finding mine, but I do know my voice. I do know my purpose. And so I want you to be able to do that. And so use your voice in small ways. Instagram captions, comments, short videos, and texts, and let your voice be in that, right? To help you say, this is how I share about this. This is how I move in who I am. And you build your voice by using it, not by waiting for it to be perfect, for you to be ready to to write a book or to speak in front of 1,000 people about your story, your voice. No. Just start doing it. Start using it. Start figuring out who you are, and can it show up in conversations? That is important. Your voice is already inside of you. It's not something that you create from scratch. It's something that you uncover, shape, and learn to trust. People are drawn to your real voice, my real voice. So show up, speak out, and let people hear the real you. The real me is, I'm talking about motivating people, storytelling, coaching people to be better. People know when I show up, and I like to show up like that. And it's opened up a lot of doors of opportunity for me, and I expect it to open up doors of opportunity for you. That's what I got today, right? That's it right there. Talk with purpose. Find the voice that represents you, right? That's what I want. And, go out there, man. I can't wait. Maybe you can write me a message and say, I found my voice, or I'm looking forward to it. But thank y'all so much for tuning into another coffee break. Right now, they started weed eating, and so I hope it's not too loud on the video. But anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting. Remember, it doesn't cost anything to push the subscribe button. And if it's not too much, share it on your socials. I know that's a big ask, but if this helps you and has impacted you in a positive way, I would appreciate that. If not, just continue watching, and thank you for your support. Y'all have a good one. And there you go, man.